Okay, we back. The gentleman at your tail up. I told you stop staying up late at night like that.
Sister Ellis, keep your place.
It's First Lady Ellis. You respect my name.
All right, First Lady.
You calling me no Sister Ellis. I elevated. I was elevated.
Hallelujah.
You know what? Go back to sleep. I want you to go back to sleep and jump off a cliff while you in your dreams.
Yeah, not if
Can you do that?
I want you to do it first.
Anyway, you know, Mary Jane, we did a lot of talking Mary Jane to some people before we presented this to you tonight. Before we presented, we talked to a lot of people and they told us some stories, and we got a good little story from Earl and Brian and the ugly son, Greg. And he's gonna wake up and he's gonna tell the story. Okay? Tell the story now, Pastor.
Well, first of all, I want to thank y'all for putting me on the program.
They did not put you on the program. They put me on the program, and you brought your tail out here.
Well, I'm here. Well, the first thing I'd say, Greg and Brian, them some good boys, and Mary brought them boys up the right way. Mary Jane. Do it.
Okay.
Mary Jane, good woman. I remember one time Brian told me the story. How?
Ain't nobody say preach now. Just tell the story. You gotta preach.
Yeah.
Just tell the story.
Yeah. Well, Brian went out.
I'm trying to preach.
And Jane been cleaning up Brian's room one day.
Ooh.
And Jane came across.
What she came across?
Some marijuana in Brian's room.
Brian!
Yeah.
Brian!
Yeah. Brian, he bad now. Greg been a good boy. Greg a good boy.
That ain't what I heard, but go ahead and tell the story the way you want to tell it.
Well, she cleaned up and she found the marijuana in Brian's room. And she called Brian and then, Brian, what are you doing smoke? I'm gonna make Earl kill you! That's what she said. We were scared of Brian and Greg were scared of Earl.
You was scared of Earl?
Earl had big old hand. Earl get his hand on it like two soup bones, grab a hold of it and just shake it to death. Earl, you didn't play with Earl. You didn't play with Earl. You didn't play with your daddy. So anyway, Jane called Earl down there. Earl come in there. And they asked Brian. Brian, Jane get all upset. Mary Jane get all upset. Brian, where did you learn to smoke these drugs and stuff? Jane was all upset. You know, like a mama do. A mama
I understand. I want to cry.
He out there smoking that marijuana.
I want to cry
and all
right
kind
now.
of stuff. He smoking.
But you know why I want to cry? I wish they would have saved it. But go ahead with your story. Go ahead with your story. Look like you had some marijuana. Go ahead with your story. I smoked some of this. Don't mess up the church. Don't mess up the church.
So Earl come down there and Earl they start questioning Brian. Brian, where'd you learn to smoke this marijuana and all kind of stuff? And Brian always been a good boy. Brian's a good boy. Brian told Earl to look at his face and look at him and said, I learned it from you! And everything got quiet. And Jane jumped on Brian and took off her heel and started hitting Brian all in the back of his head and everything. And Brian started crying out, I want my marijuana! Cut it off.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Before you cut that off, let's you know, there's sometimes you got to kind of filter out the way you tell a story.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
First of all, back in the day, you could discipline your children that way, but it is not politically correct right now to say somebody took off their shoe and beat their child. Brian, we so sorry.
Yeah.
Because if you learn how to do it, if he learned how to smoke the marijuana from his daddy, then what you gonna do?
What you gonna do? If he say he learned it from his daddy, he learned it from his daddy. I tell him mama he learned it from his daddy.
He been delivered.
Brian been delivered today. Brian don't smoke no marijuana.
And Earl been delivered too.
And Earl he can shout too. That man can shout.
Let him shout.
He'll shout.
Let him shout. See what he do. Let him shout. See what he do. That is.